Let's explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Let's go. Welcome to Brad Abbey Live. Yeah, I'm your host, Brad, and here's Abby, and we're live. So how about?
And we're live. Welcome, everybody. Please give us thumbs up. I love that freaking intro. I always get pumped up. And it's just like when I made that, I'm like, this will trigger anons, but in the best way. So let's go.
Let's go, dude. Wait, it has been a freaking insane week. It's been an insane month, and just all of 2026 has been kicking off with a vengeance. And yeah, this is the flood, man. I've been saying it for pretty much for most of this year, and we're in it right now. And we have some really we have some really unexpected things that have been coming out. I think maybe we should start the show right with these, because this is going to spawn most of our conversation today. But we have some people here, like one Bill Maher. They're all mentioning a little something called QAnon. It's a little something we know all too well. here. It's the reason Abby and I are married. And there's a lot of people. I mean, most people I know, except for some of the people who were lived it with us. Boy, they talk about Q and the Q op, and I watch what they say, and I'm like, man, you guys have no idea what you're talking about, but they talk with such confidence about it, and not necessarily in a bad way or good way. It's just like this inaccurate thing. You realize you can't really know unless you went through it and you were sitting there in those research groups and going down those rabbit holes and that all these things that are now just common knowledge. People yeah, blah, blah, blah. No, that was not common knowledge until we started flooding the internet with all the stuff we were finding about it. And one of those things is Epstein. And we're going to talk about now because the Epstein files are triggering some interesting commentary from people. Let's play this one to kick off the show.
What were your thoughts about the Epstein files, and 3 million pages being released? And, now we are hearing that Bill and Hillary Clinton have both agreed to testify in the House ahead of the contempt of Congress vote. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, this is certainly something we were talking in my meeting today about what I'm going to talk about on the show Friday, because it's just too interesting. And also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but where does QAnon go for the apology? I mean, QAnon, which believed in lots of really ridiculous things like, Democrats eat babies. Yeah. But they were kind of harping a lot on the idea that the elites are running this pedophile ring. And I mean, I made jokes about them. I also made jokes after the Epstein thing happened originally that were on the idea of, obviously there was some smoke there. Well, now with all that's come out in the last couple of weeks, there's a little more than smoke. It doesn't look like anybody who was at all able to get in touch with Jeffrey Epstein, he was the man.
We're doing it.
They just, yeah. I mean, and then they all lied about it. Everybody has, and the arrogance also of thinking they could just use their real name in an email, which they did, and didn't try to couch it in, when I used to get pot before it was legal, it was like, I'd like 2 shirts, please, and no seeds in the shirts this time. We had to sort of codify it. No, they're just openly talking in emails about this sort of, sexual perversion.
Well, I'll say this: there seems to be anyway coded language in them, and that shows that sexual perversion to them was the lesser of the things that they were doing. That they were just talking about that while coding even worse things.
Exactly.
And lots of people who you didn't think, or I never imagined were doing it. I see these names come up. So, I mean, QAnon. Yes, a lot of crazy there, but you know what? You weren't totally wrong about that, guys.
Okay, so they're going on the QAnon apology tour. A lot of people, but but they think Democrats eat babies. They just want you guys to keep that one in mind for a minute. Here's Tim Dillon. I actually like Tim Dillon a lot, but again, he's also saying some of this similar sentiment here.
They're talking about pizza. Remember Pizzagate? That was all fake. Everybody's going they're all talking about pizza. It's weird.
It
is odd. It is strange. And these are code words. We know that. They're actually code words for pedophilia. So it's like, I've gotten calls from people going, wait a minute, am I crazy, or am I now in QAnon? Now, maybe you're not in the far reaches of QAnon, which is like Biden died and was replaced by a clone, or, you know what I mean? That's hardcore QAnon, but I think we're all QAnon light. We are all QAnon light right now.
Okay, I gotta say, he's correct. He is correct. And within the movement, I have found, there'd be people like, you'd say something, you're like, oh, that's kind of like a normie Q take. There's much deeper. And it's like, I've always been QAnon light. I actually have been. I'm like, actually, they're just pedophiles in the White House. I mean, it's not like they're like, and they're satanic and everything, but it's like, you're right. They've added so much crazy stuff to it, which I believe was done on purpose.
Well, that's the thing. We're not QAnon light. We're just regular QAnon.
Okay, you can say that.
That is QAnon plant, all right? And
right.
We're gonna go over this. So, guys, remember that. QAnon thinks Biden was replaced by a clone, apparently. So, and then we got this one here. Another person who I like, Andrew Schultz. He's pretty great. Although he does a show with Charlemagne, who is like the fucking worst ever. He's the worst racist on planet Earth, and it's funny. He has a funny thing at the end there that just again proves it for the 8,000th time what a racist he is.
White supremacist.
But fucking Joker right there. But yeah, so here we listen to this. But Schultz is great.
Oh, Gates allegedly got the STD.
No.
Oh,
Which one?
Which Gates?
Bill Gates.
Really?
Wait, what are you referencing?
Tell me more.
Wait.
What happened? What happened?
You didn't see all the shit with the Epstein?
So what were you referencing?
No.
How old are you?
What you talking about? Some shit where where he fucked somebody, a Russian prostitute or something, and got some shit?
Yeah. And then he was asking Epstein for the antibiotics that he could sneak
Why
to his
would
wife.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
What did I want to know what Epstein didn't have? Like he gives you the girls that give the STDs, and then he got the motherfucking cure for it right there on deck.
Yeah.
Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, had to go to Epstein for STD medication, allegedly. It's crazy.
We can't go to the pharmacy as Bill Gates getting gonorrhea medication.
You don't have an assistant.
He's going to make his assistant have gonorrhea?
He don't have a doctor he knows that can,
It is wild that he goes, all right, so can we just all give an apology to QAnon? Can we just give that apology? That they almost got it 100% right.
Not 100.
They got it 99.9% right.
Yeah, I'll give him 40.
What?
Shit still got to unfold, bro. Like, it's a lot still unfolding.
QAnon's whole thing was that there is a global elite, a cabal of global elites that are all doing nefarious satanic rituals, having sex with underage children, doing other...
Yo, I'm not giving QAnon props before I give the Black Israelites credit, dude.
So, okay, so there you go. So he only will give you props if you're black. Now, not if, nevertheless, there's no skin color to QAnon, right? There was patriots have no skin color. That was literally a thing that we would say. But he's like, oh, no, they're totally wrong because, they're right-wing Trump supporters. But the Black Israelites, who I guess they said the same thing, they're also, but that's a really racist organization. But that's how he'll give credit to them, dude. This dude is like bursting with racism. I can't stand him so much.
Yeah, because it's really stupid. It's always stupid when you bring it down to, well, it has nothing to do with intelligence and figuring things out. It just has to do with race. Only the black people that, what are you talking about? That's stupid. You instantly became stupid in my mind. Instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
Right?
Exactly. So
prove me wrong.
Exactly. So I was watching these things, and I think it's interesting that a lot of them are like, whoa, man, these Epstein files, that's kind of what the Q people were saying, like this broad brush. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, that is interesting that the media, right? There were thousands of QAnon crazy hit pieces that suggested the same things that they were saying, eat babies and all this stuff, right? And they never once mentioned Epstein, never even a hint of, they keep talking about this Jeffrey Epstein as well. No, they purposely hid that because they didn't want people to see it. So I thought, this is kind of interesting that not a single one of these crazy reports ever mentioned Epstein. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I have a folder. I have my organized folders from over the years. It was like, I have of all the Epstein posts. It's like, I'm just going to make a thread. And in my folder, I had about 90 files. As I was going through the posts, it turned out there's like, I don't know, 40 or 50 that I missed that it wound up took me 3 days. That is how many Q posts. I've been up all night for nights in a row. It's like I'm barely on any sleep right now if I have bags on the mask. It took me days to post them all. And straight. I woke up yesterday, went right to my computer, and then I fell asleep at like, I don't know, 5 a.m. or something.
And Brad, when he's at his computer doing work, he's just literally powering through. He'll even just like literally like eat and drink there, like there's constant copy paste. You're taking pictures, you were doing whatever for every single post. And then also you took the time. So in the Q post, there is a ton of links that have been removed. A ton of links. And a lot of them are really hard to even get back. Like a lot of them point to, let's say, X accounts that were removed or YouTube channels that were removed. But Brad, you took the time to get but did you get everything? You way back machined it and tracked them down in the archives, and he brought them back up. So it's almost like the original post the way it works. So you gotta check it out. It's good.
Yeah, after about the first 20 or so, I was like, I should also, because I was finding them for myself and taking screenshots. And I was like, I should start also including these links, on archive.is, because Wayback Machine has been completely taken over, but this is no secret at this point. But I tried to count them. There were a lot. So I got roughly about 130 posts into Epstein, Ghislaine, their whole operation. People were like, Lex Wexner, this week. I'm like, yeah, hi. We were telling you about Lex Wexner 5 fucking years ago. And so I went through each one, right? And again, I was just like, there have been endless media pieces on, no QAnon up, this crazy shit. And they never once dared mention him. Nothing. Thousands of these hit pitches, not a single mention of the deep dive in the Jeffrey Epstein sick world. Instead, they did this to purposely hide it from you. These NBC and ABC and all these channels that have been around for 80 to 100 years, and they are considered the legacy media, journalistic integrity that everyone can trust. You see a thing on NBC, normal people think, whoa, they must have done an investigation into this. Instead, claimed that QAnon said Democrats eat babies, Biden was replaced by a clone, the earth is flat, JFK Jr. faked his own death. All these things that they would say about QAnon that were made up, by the way.
Not true.
Not in the files, meaning they didn't do any freaking research into it, while purposely ignoring, not saying anything about the fact that the Q administration's Q posts were outing Epstein regularly for years before anyone even heard about him. And then years after that, they purposely hid them and lied to everyone's faces thousands of times. So we're going to go over this thread a little bit. But before I do that, we're going to go over something else.
Well, there's a good comment here. Matthew Trump says, the Brad files, I love it. He says, this stuff is gold at this point, whatever people have archived. And yes, Q told us to archive offline because they knew that they would be sweeping it eventually. The whole point is it's information war for your mind. So, that's epic that you did that.
Yeah. About halfway through, I was like, oh, man. What did I get myself into? But it's cool. And now I have it. Now I have a full thread. Anyone who's interested, now that this is on people's radar again, can go through it and see.
Let me grab the link for it too.
Maybe this is why people defend Trump so vigorously. Like, gonna go out on a limb. Don't think he liked the guy, because it's especially too for people who try to separate the Q-op and the Trump administration and MAGA and all that. Those are the people who don't understand. Like, they're not separated. That's Trump. That's like Scavino was posting those, and I different generals who were around him. That op was part of the Trump administration. It's just them talking to the people. So people try to make it this big separate thing. They don't get it. It's like you can't be MAGA without being about what those drops were about. And those drops weren't about the crazy shit they talk about. And that's why I have this open. This is qalerts.app. And they have a search here. You can search the word "the," and you will get 2,892 posts, because it's just a clean. There's no algorithm. It's just whatever you type in will come up. So let's go to claim number 1. I believe this one was by Bill Maher, that QAnon says Democrats eat babies. So let's put in the word babies. Only
go.
one post. And this is when they share posts like this is someone else saying it. Then we need to dig Planned Parenthood. Whatever they're doing to the babies / fetal tissue might be more sinister than ever imagined. And Q shares this and says, review the congressional investigation on Planned Parenthood. Be prepared for what you learn. Next question, how are they allowed to operate? People are sick. That's it. Nothing about eating babies. Let's see. Eating. Worth repeating. So, sometimes this could be frustrating because it
takes half words.
Word, right? It'll do it. Cheating, repeating, seeding, treating.
But see, eating would have come up.
Creating, treating, creating, treating, retreating, creating. Something I don't know why some of them come up when there isn't anything there. Creating. You guys get the point, right? QAnon, the Q post never once ever said that Democrats eat babies. Never. So Bill Maher's like, hey, they got all this stuff right. Oh, but not that eating baby stuff. Yeah, because that was made up. Fucking no one ever said it. That stuff you're saying they got right is the only stuff they discussed. They discussed this. They discussed all the Crossfire Hurricane Spygate stuff in depth. They talked about election fraud, talked about the COVID fraud, all the stuff that people are trying to say, hey, those Q people got this right. Yeah, that's the stuff. Okay. Part 2, Biden is a clone. Let's put up the word
this is great.
Clone. Okay. China clones ballots, 2 posts. And Operation Cyclone, the Mujahideen, Afghanistan. If you guys watch Codex 9/11, you know all about Operation Cyclone because there was also some 9/11 posting in this. Again, something that's widely accepted by a lot of people. Wow, nothing about a clone. There was one. This is the closest one for Biden, right? That discussed this. The people say this is ear flap, but I mean, they were talking about it being like a listening device that they kind of tried to mask, like an earpiece.
And I've seen that other times. Remember when I showed you that one and I was like, it could be a mask. But now that I forgot about this post, it would be highlighting that the earpiece, because sometimes it got loose. They hide
probably look a little worse, right?
It's the skin. Mm-hmm.
So nothing about Biden being a clone. What was the
Eleanor
other one?
says this is amazing, by the way.
The
Thank
Earth
you,
is
Eleanor.
flat. Let's see. Earth flat. Oh, only one post. Just to shut the flat earthers up, Q. Is the Earth flat? No. Hey, so for all the MSM pieces who ignored all the Epstein postings and said, oh, the Earth is flat. No, no one with half a brain believes the Earth is flat. This is the most fucking retarded thing. And that's like a CIA implant into our movement to make us look stupid. I'm totally convinced. And the granddaddy, JFK Jr., is still alive. Those crazy QAnoners. Let's see. Is JFK Jr. alive? No. Okay. Is JFK Jr. alive? No. This one just says POTUS and JFK Jr. plane crash 1999, HRC Senate 2000 to start and enjoy the show. So it literally acknowledges plane crash, say that he's not alive, and then they double down on it to reshare is not alive, and then say, do you see how it works? Why are they so heavily invested in attacking, forcing Pose to denounce? And I mean, these are probably all QAnon's JFK conspiracy theory foiled. No Dallas rally this weekend. It's like, see how these are all MSM talking about the JFK Jr. alive fake news. So it's like all the things that they predicated with and we're like, well, they did say some crazy stuff. No, those were plants. And by the way, some people did think Vincent Fusca for a minute might have been an older JFK. That didn't come from a Q post. That came from the Moon Township rally in, let's see, it was earlier this year. So this is December 2018. So that was like probably off the top of my head March, April of 2018, and people saw him, and really the girl he was next to looked really like Caroline. So that sparked it, but then people met him, and he was way shorter than JFK Jr. And he himself was like, I'm definitely not JFK Jr. And then someone asked the Q post or the Q team, and they straight up just said no. So that was it. It was squashed for most of us, especially after December 12th, 2018. We were like, okay, well, that was fun, but it's not there. And none of it came from Q. So that is just to put all that to rest. And then here we are, where I decided again to just post all of them, because it's funny. They act like Epstein is just hitting the mainstream, and they're like, why didn't you tell anyone? Yeah, we tried. They kept deleting us. So, yeah.
Oh boy, they did too.
Right, exactly.
I had something to add to this, because I love how you just painted this picture. So you found all the claims. I do believe those claims were inserted by intelligence agencies to make the movement look retarded and stupid and silly, right? That's how you do it.
Exactly.
If you can't get rid of the source, you just throw 1,000 other ones out there that look like another conspiracy, and it leads people astray. But the point I want to make, that I love how you painted the picture here. It's like the mainstream media looked us up, found Q, right?
Right.
And they're talking about Epstein all day long. So those reporters or whoever was writing those attack pieces on us saw that shit. And they didn't report on it. Now that's insane, right? So that would make me, just as a normal person, a normie, or whatever you want to say, I'd be like, well, that's kind of weird. If they did look that cute and everything they were saying is real, you saw that same Epstein stuff that was already on that, So what it is, it's like, imagine you're buying a house. And they're like, oh, great. So what color is it? Oh, I can't tell you. What is? Oh, wait, it's not that. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's like they saw the whole story and they just told you it's just QAnon. And then they said they believe in flat earth, this and that, which you just proved they don't say at all. So your dig that you just did, really, to me, as like from a normal standpoint, would implicate the press. And we know that one lady came forward and she said, I had it all. I had Epstein, the royal family.
Yes.
Which everybody, if you've been keeping track, some implications are going that route as well. I mean, obviously, not to mention freaking, what's his name was with Epstein all the time? Andrew.
Andrew.
So anyways, I didn't mean to throw you off, but I like how you just painted that picture. A real investigative reporter would have jumped at that. At least, let's check these claims out. This looks interesting. No. Yeah. They just made up some stuff.
Right. They did it because they didn't want you to look. They didn't want you to look at those Q posts. So they didn't want you to know that they're talking about things that, we're all talking about now. And they didn't want you to see all the other stuff. The Q posts also go into the Rothschilds and how central banking has been a way that they have taken over the entire world. Interesting. They don't want you how taxes and a lot of these organizations that you donate to are basically money laundering ops. And they also talked about the military industrial complex, how most war, like prolonged, is a racket and it's a money laundering scheme, which we then again saw in real time play out with Ukraine. That was predicted by the Q drops. They don't want you to see all that stuff or the more in-depth Epstein stuff. They only wanted you to see a picture of Donald Trump and Epstein from the 90s when Epstein was trying to inject himself into Trump's life. And I'm trying to find here just to show how long that we've been at this.
And there's an interesting post here from Biz Knight General, just a person on X. But they said, search the Epstein library, just put in the word Rothschild, like I've been doing last night. And there is 12,000 results. So
one of them, he says, I represent Rothschild. He says,
yes, right. So there you go. So
here we go. Here is a mini doc
and we're making dramatic strides in combating the opioid epidemic. We have it down by a number of almost, a lot of problems. And we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks, unrelated, but something that's going to have a profound effect on the things that we're talking about and have been talking about over the last 2.5 years. It's going to be something really incredible. That'll take place over the next 2 weeks.
Billionaire businessman Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in New York Saturday on federal charges related to sex trafficking.
Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airport.
Epstein was arrested late last night at Teterboro Airport.
I remember when that all happened
We made
live.
fun of that, and then like 2 or 3 days later, who's arrested at the effing airport?
Only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
Huh?
So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claim that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Epstein was actually banned from Mar-a-Lago, according to court documents obtained by Inside Edition, after Epstein was accused of sexually assaulting an underage girl at the club.
I was not a fan of his, that I can tell you. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years.
Let's go.
Jeffrey Epstein will remain in jail while he awaits trial on sex trafficking charges. A federal judge in New York has denied bail.
Oh, yeah.
When did you make this?
So that's exactly the point.
Jeffrey Epstein was not someone that I respected. These are the words spoken by the president on the White House lawn when asked about the long-disgraced financier. What is the keystone? Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island. What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship? Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colors, design, and symbol above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When? How often? And why? These are the words written by the president back in 2017 when he tasked Anons to dig on the now incarcerated financier. Here's what's been found. This is
okay. So you guys get the point. This is a documentary I made, almost 7 years ago on Jeffrey Epstein. So for all the Johnny-come-latelys who think they understand, they don't know shit. And the reason I knew all this is because the Q drops sent me on 100 freaking rabbit holes looking into Epstein. They literally begged us, dig this guy up, dig on him, expose him. Exposing him brings down everything. And we're watching it happen right now. Mm-hmm. So it is very satisfying to see. And here is that original, post again. I was going through a lot of these, but it starts off with who are the puppet masters. The House of Saud, which we saw completely overhauled at the beginning of this operation with MBS. Rothschild, Soros says many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds, think war, think environmental pacts. The triangle has three sides. Follow the bloodlines. Okay. This is why they made up lies about the Q post. These were pretty straightforward, actual red pills and research leads that by the time we came out the end of it, we were finding, you find this stuff yourself because they're just telling you to look for stuff. And then you look for it and you're like, holy shit. Okay. This
And
is
we all
why
had our little avenues we went in too. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Like I went more
Yeah.
towards the MK Ultra mind control. Someone went towards the more child trafficking thing. Because that's how God tasks us with our abilities and things. I thought of memes at the ready, music at the ready. How is it that Brad made this video 7 years ago? It's because it's true and it's because it's real. And the media hid it from everybody. They did. We watched it real time. They freaking took us down. And but this time it's different. This time
we tried. YouTube
everybody
eventually deleted that video. YouTube. So for everyone, your Google fans out there, I'm probably not in this audience, but your friends, if any of you are watching this, they deleted that. They deleted my channel, which I have it back now, but you still can barely do anything on there. And we're all shadow banned. I have 100. I had 165,000. I think I have about 140,000 now since I got it back. And you post things and you get like 1,000 views, which is awesome on one hand, but certainly not indicative of my follower count. So it's not even worth it. But so you go through these. We're not going to go through all these, but just to I'm going to scroll it a little bit just to give you an idea. Why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury the tunnels underneath his temple? Talking about the island. Okay. These were, that first one's 2017. Now we're into 2018, showing the island, where do the roads lead, sacrifice, collect pure evil, telling us to look up Ray Chandler. Okay. And while showing a picture of Prince Andrew, Ghislaine, and Virginia Giuffre, who unfortunately, I think she was taken out. I don't think she committed suicide. Then again, now Epstein's playing with Clinton, and we believe this is Ray Chandler. And going down, Ray Chandler, so people found her Instagram. This is her with Eminem. And saying, why is Eminem so vocal against POTUS? Biggest connection missing. Focus on the friends. Okay, even mentions MS-13. Okay, this is her with an emaciated child on her Instagram. They had a link to her Instagram that, again, these are all broken links now, that looks like security camera. That the general consensus was that this was a security camera for Epstein Island. People are noticing stairs, maybe even
didn't
the
it say
flight
something
line
about
right here.
levels? Like it said, notice how many stairs. So this gives the idea of depth.
It does eventually, yeah, when it comes back around to that. Yeah, there's then again, also they're talking about Ray Chandler, and they're linking things like this that never got any coverage in the media. Trump signs law to punish websites for sex trafficking. He also had I don't know, 7 or 8 human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking summits over the course of his first term. That's all continuing. There were many arrests. See, there's a sentiment that with these Epstein files that, before I go further, I just want to make this point. There's this sentiment that, well, why did they sit on all this? So they didn't. Well, first of all, you're seeing now they didn't. They were spewing it out to the public. The mainstream media, though, was making up lies to scare you away from looking at it because they didn't want you to see it. They're only talking about it now because they have to. They all know about Epstein. But if you look, since Trump got in, this is one of the ways I found even the Q posts. When he first got in, all of a sudden, there was thousands of pedophile arrests, like February of 2017. I remember thinking, oh, that's wild. And I started looking it up. And then spent that whole spring, Ohio, human trafficking arrest. Oh, child trafficking ring broken up in Ohio, 12 arrests, 10 kids saved. And it was just constant for that whole 4 years. Just child trafficking rings that broken up, places like the online back page where they found that they were doing child trafficking and then just prostitution in general. Through that, they broke that down. They took that down. Just again, all over the country. This went on for the entirety of his entire first term. minimal coverage. The only thing you'd ever find is local papers would report on it, or it'd be in and out of the big ones really quick. But so for people saying, why were they sitting on this? They weren't. I mean, I'm pretty sure every one of those was the second they found out that kids were being held somewhere, they sent in people and freaking got it taken care of. So they've been specifically taking care of it. Now, what people don't realize is they only look at the big names. To them, taking care of it is like the 30 big names that are you could find that are linked to it. The Les Wexner, this one, that one, right? You say the Joe Bidens of the world, even the Obamas of the world, hot dogs and flown in hot dogs. So people are like, they only want to see those people, but they don't realize underneath, those are the 30 people who are their representation on the world stage. These are the actors, right, who run cover for them, and they create policy and they help this whole lifeblood flow, right? Those are the people we see. Underneath those people are the real network. And that could be, I don't know, 500,000 people. I mean, these are continuous, huge networks. All the networks are running down here. These are the figureheads, okay? And they have been taking these networks out. Again, the whole first administration was breaking up pedophile rings. Look into it.
Yeah.
Just over and over. Somewhere I have a thing saved of probably 100 different stories from the 4 years. And every story is like 30 people arrested, 10 kids saved, one after another. So they've been dismantling this. And guess what? These people, this is their network that works.
Yeah, it's their moneymaker.
Soldiers, like if you look at like a mafia, right? They have, the whole scams that are being run, but then they also have their soldiers, which are, a lot of them are cartel members and MS-13 and Tren de Agra and all these freaking that they brought in over the border. And those are the people who commit murders for them, who do all the dirty work. Now, in the second term, that whole network is being dismantled by ICE. And it was already a lot of MS-13 got deported in the first. They're both being simultaneously. But now you're seeing the public, this whole network. There are all these people, you look at them like gang leaders, right? All the big names that people are waiting for. Those people are attached to Cruz. You arrest Obama, you have an uprising on your hands, okay? That person, he is attached to a large swath of the down here. Hillary Clinton, a large swath. You got to look at them. These are gang leaders, okay? They're clan leaders. They are dismembering the clan right now. So before you do any of that, you have to remove all this. And that there is evidence that has been going on non-stop for the whole first term, now for the whole second term now, this whole second year of first year of the second term that's been going on, especially now. So they're doing it. Eventually, when these people are the couple dozen figureheads are severed from it, it won't even matter. They'll have no power. I mean, I think they should all be put in jail, but I'm saying that is not, those are just their figurehead representation. Those are the gang leaders. So anyway, this has been happening. Also, they have been exposing the living shit out of one of the lower controllers, which would be your Epstein, his people like Ray Chandler, other people he worked with like Les Wexner.
He's all he's in the files.
The head of that guy started Victoria's Secret, and they said, and modeling agencies like then Jean-Luc Brunel, the modeling agency was like MC2 or something like that. All this stuff is in these files, right? Here's August 2018, showing the temple. Normal. No one was talking about any of this shit back then, okay?
Nobody knew who it was. I had no idea.
Epstein Axes, Island closed. Again, this is when they say it's not just about sex trafficking. It's about one, there's a sex resort who traffic drugs underage girls. Two, occult worship of evil, temple, pray for the victims. Okay, and they start showing pictures. There's the old Billy Clinton on an island. They were dropping Virginia Giuffre. Again, this is a name that's common now. Here's This is dropping her link to her case against Ghislaine Maxwell. So, you know, a lot of us were all digging into that. And again, Virginia says in her deposition, we've gone over tons of times here, that Trump was very nice to her. She only knows that they were friends because Epstein insisted that they were friends, but that Trump was a good guy. She never seen him do anything. She never seen him on the island. He never flirted with her. That was all made up. Again, talking about this and just going through this whole world. And again, it took me days.
Oh, you share the other screen?
Oh, yeah. And again, this took me days to go through. And that's how much of it. Epstein Island dungeon beneath the temple, sex and torture rooms, open fluently across social media, untouchable. And where are Rachel Chandler's models to watch 2017? Where are they now? Saying, look for these people. Something's wrong here. Here's Wara Salawala, who was commissioned for Clinton Foundation anniversary, pictured with Ray Chandler and Marina Abramovic.
Oh, man.
So this whole world, I mean, most of us, I mean, it's changed my whole life. This is literally why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, before this, I was like, yeah, Trump's cool. I think he's going to be a good president. Now I was starting to see the pedophile arrests after he got in. I was like, man, he's going to be a really cool president.
Right.
This is epic. Once you dive into these, you realize it's much different, and that really energized me. And that's why it's laughable when people are like, this is Operation Trust. Oh, they're just doing it to placate you so you'll go to sleep. Like, we didn't even know this stuff existed. Go to sleep for what? Like, this is the stuff that got everyone freaking going. It's like, this is supposed to stop me from this stuff. No one even knew this stuff existed until these drops. And again, these drops break down a lot of stuff, not just Epstein. These are just, I'm just focusing. This was just a thread of the Epstein ones. Peter Beard, and Rachel Chandler.
Cag Park says, what's the link to Brad's Epstein documentary? Anyone know? Do you have a link to that? The one that you played earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think people would really like that because it's good. And this is I believe what's part of the future proves past is it's just like when the press was taken over, Mockingbird Media, right? There was no free press. And so the powers that be knew that they needed to have a free press. And so this was the only way. And it had to be catchy. It had to make people intrigued. So we had to start digging into these things. But look, then you're talking about Les Wexner. He just came out breaking news, that was in the just released Epstein files. And this is 7 years ago. So yeah, definitely worth a watch, guys. I do remember this at the time. The other thing I was thinking about real quick when you're talking about these elites and their players,
Adam.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that.
They, like people like Obama and let's say Bill Clinton and them, they have blackmail on them. So even those puppets are controllable. And I was thinking, honestly, the real elites at the top, they're probably so deep, dark, and private. Nobody has nothing on them. And that's the way they like it. Right. But but that's why we have to start from the base. So yeah, it's all about and I'll let you go in just a second, but you got to start from the base because that's also where they get all their money. Human trafficking. I saw a number. It's like $150 billion enterprise plus. This is just, and it's not taxed and it's not, what I mean? When you really think about it, you're like, holy crap, of course they're doing this. So, but yeah, the blackmail thing, I feel like the top ones don't even have blackmail on them, and that's why they have the puppets do their dirty work. However, now we've tracked him down, and I love this. This is good. I think you're muted.
And here's connections to Rothschild, Matt Rothschild, and Rachel Chandler. Because again, just richchandler.us. Basically, she's very connected. And Prince Andrew is deeply connected. Rachel Chandler and Paris Hilton. Yeah, that's one of the things I thought, especially like when I first swept down the Marina Abramovic rabbit hole, which again comes from one of those original Q posts where they're like, what's spirit cooking? Who's Marina Abramovic? Why is John Podesta being invited to a spirit cooking dinner. And then you look up spirit cooking, you're like, oh my God, it's a Satanist writing blood curses on the wall. Why is the former chief of staff being invited to this lady's house specifically for that? So you start going down these weird things.
That's in the Podesta emails too.
And you start seeing that they all hang out with Marina Abramovic. Here's someone, Jay-Z, doing a dance piece with her, and James Franco doing a thing with her, and she's on The View, and she knows all these people, and she knows John Podesta, and she knows the Clintons, and you're just like, huh, I've never heard of this lady a day in my life. How is it that she's like a friend with all these celebrities, yet you've never heard of her? And Lady Gaga is going to train with her because she's hidden, because she is an occultist witch. So it's like weird when you see someone like this Ray Chandler is with all these people, yet no one's ever heard of her. Here's one. This is from Ray Chandler's Instagram with two little girls in a pentagram and a knife. So it's like, keep digging. And it says Ray Chandler's Allison Mack times 100. Allison Mack is another one who the Q drops brought attention to. She was the actress from Smallville, and she was tied to a sex cult called NXIVM, where their leader, Keith Raniere, got, I don't know, like 150 years or something for trafficking underage children and doing all weird sex branding and stuff.
Yeah, because they did. I remember they had stuff like cut. I know that was what Marina Abramovic did. She cut a pentagram on her stomach for, remember, art, guys? It's our art.
Yeah.
But I remember, they were branded. They were branded.
Yeah,
like these people are sick.
They're totally sick. Yeah, and then Allison Mack with that. Keith Raniere went away. Allison Mack went to jail, and this has been going on so long. I think Allison Mack's out now. I think Claire Bronfman got like 5 years in jail. The Seagram's heiress, she's out now. Claire Bronfman is a tie to the whole Epstein world and all that. So these are all these worlds. These seedy worlds are all connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, Nikki Hilton, Paris's sister, married a Rothschild, James Rothschild. This is another thing. Judge overseeing Epstein-related suit dies. Do you believe in coincidences? Again, just digging onto these people. We doing blackmail, no level works. Talking about all this stuff, and it just goes into it. Here is where they're talking about the Hillary Clinton Foundation crime against children. So here is this is from the Inspector General's report, June 14th, 2018, page 294. I included a link here. Let's see if we can go to this. And let's see, 294. All right, so these were notes on the Wiener laptop, and these are from this guy Coleman. His notes, who was briefed by Comey, and his notes say Anthony Weiner, unrelated, texting 15-year-old, sexually explicit, federal SW iPhone, initial analysis of laptop, thousands of emails, Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. And then he kind of plays dumb about these notes. And we're like, well, must have been given their placement. They most likely represent information he was briefed on first thing in the morning by his subordinates in the Criminal Investigation Division. And he stated that he may have passed this information to other FBI executives after the morning brief with the director, but he could not remember if that occurred here. Comey says he did not recall. Yeah, Comey's another one.
It's all connected, and that goes to the video. I don't know. I have so many of these things. I have Marina Abramovic standing with Jay-Z. I have this video where it's just literally on Fox News where they say Comey lied because he said there was 30,000 emails, right, from that laptop. But in actuality, they uncovered there was 340,000 emails. 30 to 340,000. Huge difference.
Yeah.
What were in those emails.
Crazy. Burning Brights in the chat says the Ben Swan video. Remember the Ben Swan Pizzagate video?
Yeah, got that one too.
Apparently that's been going viral. Yeah, he got fired for that, Ben Swan. Ben Swan's great. Ben Swan is in that documentary I was telling you about that we were talking about the other day, Shadow Ring. That's a 2015 documentary. That's something I watched early on that really was like put a lot of the pieces together for me. Here's one where so that connect the dots. And when you go to this, it says billionaire sex offender Epstein once claimed he co-founded the Clinton administration. Mr. Epstein was part of the original group that conceived the Clinton Global Initiative, which is a big part of the foundation, which is described as a project bringing together a community of global leaders to devise and implement innovative solutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. Okay. And then here's also, it's a little blurry to read, but it says that Epstein, let's see, he actively sought advancement of his philanthropic goals through his participation and generous support of both the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations.
Dear God.
Yes, the shoe fits, right? So, yeah, this is what the Q post did for us, right? So this is just a post to someone scrolling up, connect the dots, all right, whatever. But you start looking into them and you're like, wow, those are some interesting dots right there. And you start getting to these pages and stuff, and he's looking below the surface. This is what Q begged us to do. Look beneath the surface for things. Okay. And you're just talking about again. Here's one, July 8th. And this is, now after he was arrested now, July 8th. So then they really start going in. Les Wexner. Now they're sending on other places. Founder of Victoria's Secret. Connect the dots. Okay. And that's why a lot of us are talking about Les Wexner. Here's a post that Q shared. Kit Laybourne worked for MTV, Nickelodeon, Children's Television Workshop, and Nick Jr. Geraldine Laybourne created Nickelodeon in 96, became the president of Disney. Both are on the board of KinderCare, and both are on the Epstein flight logs.
Woo. It's always the kid stuff, too. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
They always do it through these help your children foundations, and then a lot of bad stuff happens through that, and it's just like it's just disgusting. This world, it's very disgusting.
Yes, very much. And this is a profound one, and this is something we had been saying for a long time since basically the beginning of this up, that the job of the media, 90% owned by 6 corporations, is not to inform the public of truth using facts, but to con the public using falsehoods and opinion to paint a narrative that is designed to keep the sheep in line in order to maintain control and regain power. People awake in the United States ends their control. Brainwashing. We see that very much today.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we just have been seeing over and over and over. And they shared this. Again, a lot of these were erased, but I was able to find them. So isn't Donald Trump really close to this Epstein guy too? Read they flew around a lot together. And it's like Trump's not in the flight logs to the little St. James Island, not even once, right? Took a couple trips back to New York with him. Upon learning that Epstein,
his plane got. Sorry, go ahead.
Upon learning that Epstein had assaulted the 14-year-old daughter, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. At Epstein's first arrest, Trump voluntarily went to the police to give a statement. Okay. And it's funny because we've been saying this I don't even remember this post when I was looking at it, but this is something that we had found. I had found it. It came right from Michael Wolff in his hit piece. And now we saw that then the Democrats released the things where they were talking about it, where Epstein's like, I'm pretty sure he's the one who called Palm Beach Police Department on me. And then Wolff puts in his book saying that, well, Trump was mad at Epstein. Epstein was mad at Trump for screwing him out of property. So because Epstein was mad at Trump outed him as a pedophile. It was just the weirdest
my gosh
backpedal in human history. I was like, oh yeah, so wait, so let's just strip out the assumed emotions that you're trying to add to this. Trump found out that Epstein was trying to get a second property in Palm Beach and did everything he could to outbid him to keep him from spreading in that area. Is probably sick of him already, and then outed him to the Palm Beach Police Department. And I believe, we can do a little weave here. Is this the one?
And I also have it too. Yep, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this has been coming out.
It should be 4 pages.
Do you want to pull up yours and go through it for us?
I do. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
This is freaking great. And we've been watching the news. has been, they've been begrudgingly having to report this, and then they're trying to be like, well, he said he didn't know Epstein or anything. It's like, you've been telling us that he's Epstein's best friend. Well, here's 2006, by the way, just, I know everyone knows this, but I want people to really think about this for a second. 2006, George Bush was the president. That's how long ago this was. George Walker Bush was, is it Walker? I can't remember. GW.
9/11 was like, did just happen 5 years
just
before
happened
that.
about 5 years prior. Okay. We had just invaded Iraq. This is how long ago Trump has been trying to out Jeffrey Epstein, just for context.
All right. So this is in from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. These were from the files they've been releasing. Instead of saying redacted, I'm going to say blank. It's quicker. Okay. So blank date of birth, blank. Blank was interviewed at blank. Present for his interview was Detective Blank and Special Agent Blank. Prior to the beginning of this interview, Blank was served with a subpoena requesting his participation in the interview and that he turn over materials in his possession pertaining to the investigation. Blank then turned over to agents 2 boxes containing case-related materials that Blank states he recovered from deceased case detective Blank's home. After being advised of the identities of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, Blank provided the following information. Blank stated that in one of the boxes was an image copy of Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen counter laptop that had a phone message that Blank hadn't seen before. An employee was stealing from Epstein, and Epstein called the Palm Beach Police Department, PBPD. This was how Blank met Epstein. All right, so it was a connection. Epstein donated. This is the part where you see he's really getting in with the cops. Epstein donated $40,000 to PBPD to help purchase a machine to help the PBPD review security footage. He also wrote a check for $90,000 to help them purchase a fingerprint machine. Why the fuck is he doing this for the police? You know what I mean? Like, this is weird, right? This was around the same time.
This is how you buy the police. They're less likely to be like, oh, that's the guy who buys this stuff and donates.
We don't want to turn on him.
All right. Yeah.
This was around the same time that Epstein's first victim had come forward to the PBPD. Sorry, it's hard to say. Blank did not cash this check. It was very common for the PBPD to receive donations from the wealthy like this. Epstein donated to the police scholarship fund for children. He donated more than others. Blank asked Blank who Epstein is. Blank said that Epstein supports law enforcement and is an important guy. PBPD checked him out and saw the New Yorker article about him. It's like, oh, well, he's a rich and famous guy. I guess it's okay. Blank became the police chief in 2001. In the early 2000s, maybe 2003, a call came into the tip line that attractive women were coming in and out of Epstein's house. PBPD did surveillance on Epstein's house, and 2 separate women were stopped. They were both students of Blank, both adults, and said that they were working for him. Okay, so they were of age. The September of the first victim, whose name Blank thought was Blank, was the one who made her come forward. Agent note Blank, last name was Blank. The stepmother called and said her daughter was having sex with a man in Palm Beach. They were brought into the precinct, and she said, I'm not the only one. There are other girls doing it. This case was assigned to Blank, who interviewed Blank a few days later. The case started to grow.
Michael Reitner. I forget, because I remember the name of this guy. I used to have like actual physical newspaper articles on who was doing the investigation. You know, while you read this, I'm gonna look if I could find those.
Oh, cool. Okay. The case started to grow rapidly. Blank experience inside the house was taken corroborated. More surveillance was done on Epstein's house. Some kids were observed pubescent, sorry, it's hard to say, with braces and backpacks. Oh gosh, coming from school. Aviation personnel with PBPD also about who was coming and going. One employee said there were dozens of girls in one day. The PBPD then put together a case and brought it to the state's attorney office. At this point, Blank believed they were already in communications with the defense. Blank spoke with the state's attorney, whom he had a good relationship with. Blank was to get a detective and speak with the sex crimes unit on who to use. When the state's attorney asked who the case was about, Blank said it was about Epstein. The state attorney told Blank that he had never heard of him. Then after he spoke with the defense, the state's attorney told Blank to write Epstein a notice to appear for a misdemeanor, lewd and, I don't know how to say that, lascivious behavior. Blank debated on whether to arrest Epstein on probable cause, but said it would be problematic with the state's attorney. So they're kind of like trying to game out how to get this guy. Do you want me to continue, Ben? Did you?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to find if I can find this guy's name, but this is going to get to now.
Yeah, to get to Trump's thing.
Yeah, it's going to get to the Trump part, which again just proves that he's been going after this guy since 2006. Okay, at least.
So the PBP tried to keep the case very tight. They would type up their reports and put them on a hard drive, which they would put in a safe. They would not input these reports in the computer. That's just weird already. They had sexual battery cases against the co-conspirators. When PBPD presented it, they wouldn't approve it. The state's attorney said the victims were not credible and would not show their MySpace pages and such. They would refute minute details in the probable cause affidavit. Blank thought it was leaked by the attorney's office. Blank thought that defense attorneys thought they weren't doing enough to take them out of it. This case died at the state level. Blank then wrote a letter to the state's attorney asking him to rescue himself. After this, private investigators began harassing and playing games with Blank. Epstein had Blank go to Blank and tell him these girls are just prostitutes. These are just happy endings. These are minor cases. These people are sick. Private investigators began pulling the police officers' trash. Okay. About 6 months after Blank retired, he was contacted by the private investigators who was represented by attorney Blank. He told Blank that he had some safety concerns for him. Blank was told that Igor, Epstein's trainer, recently purchased a townhouse. Redacted. Blank received a call about target letter that he had received. This individual told Blank that he didn't have to worry because Epstein is not in Palm Beach anymore and that he sold his house. Blank stated this was not true and it was a weird call. The PBD referenced this case to the FBI and introduced the victims to the FBI. Everyone was very motivated. Eventually, there was a lack of communication. Blank heard that there was a discussion of a plea deal of non-prosecution, and Blank asked to speak to United States Attorney Alexandria Acosta. Interesting. Blank asked him if he was going to own up to what he promised when he was sworn in. Acosta said the defense had him very frustrated with the case. He said there was a lot of interest from higher up. State did not want to take it back. It took months to convince them to take it back. It was very disappointing that the system failed in this case. Oh, man, this is just so revealing here. Yeah. Blank was told that the non-prosecution would include a fund for counseling and medical. There was a hurry to make this case go away. After giving the $90,000 check, Epstein came back to Blank office. He talked about Harvard donations. Epstein just wanted to know about Blank. It was like he was sizing Blank up. Afterwards, Blank walked with Epstein to the lobby and Redacted was there. She was like a statue. Oh, Palm Beach Country Club is a Jewish country club. A lot of wealthy people are there and they flock together. Mar-a-Lago is a mixture of everyone. Donald Trump told blank that he threw Epstein out of his club. Trump called the PBPD to tell him, thank goodness you're stopping him.
There we go.
Everyone has known he's been doing this. Trump told him people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. And this is a quote, she is evil and to focus on her. Trump told blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. Do you want me to finish it?
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about this now for a little bit. Say that last line again. Trump was one of the very first people.
Yes. Trump, right here. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein.
Yeah, dude.
Straight up.
And what does he say? He says that this was, what did he say? That he was a monster, right? And he tells them to look at Ghislaine too.
Look at Ghislaine Maxwell. She is evil and to focus on her. And then, yeah, he basically Trump found out. And it's funny because before this even came out, you know, we would just ball game in our minds what we think happened. And I've said this time and time again. I was like, I think he found out he's a pedophile. And he said, okay, I am going to take this motherfucker down, like straight up. Yes. I'm going to find a way. And then I think that also developed because Trump's a smart man. So when he started looking into it, which I know he did, then I think he realized, oh shit, this guy has blackmailed the country.
Right. Like, yeah. He was probably like, why is this guy trying? Right. Mm-hmm. And okay, so I found it.
I'll pull this down.
Yeah, so this is Police Chief Michael Ryder. So that's probably one of the redacted names in there. And that's who was this is from August 14th, 2006. And you know, he's just talking about how he was disappointed that this didn't go further, and that it was, he referred the case to the FBI. And again, so that's who's talking about it. And this is probably who Trump called and told, like, thank you. That this guy's a sick animal. And I love it. And so it's like all these people who were like, well, I don't know, he danced with him at a party with of age women in the 90s. Like, yeah, dude, have you not? You see Jeffrey Epstein, it's a blackmail operation. This guy's trying to attach himself to everyone. Trump was big in that area. He's in there, Palm Beach, there's a lot of rich people there. He's trying to freaking saturate himself with them. And now it's proven that Trump, once he realized what was going on, by the way, Epstein didn't even own that island back then. He didn't buy Little St. James to 1998. And those are things from the early 90s from before that, where he's showing up at Mar-a-Lago, which he was then kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, confirmed now. And now it's confirmed that back in the 2006 case, Trump literally called them up and was like, was also confirming that he was a scumbag, giving them other leads, blowing up Ghislaine Maxwell's spot and saying that they're monsters and you have to go into them. And so this is what we've all been talking about for so long. Then in 2009, the clip that we played when I was playing the beginning of that little documentary I did is, you know, Bradley Edwards. That was the Virginia Giuffre and others. That was their attorney in 2009. They were trying to bring a case against Epstein. And he said that Trump was the only one that helped, who called up and was like, yes, I will give you everything you need to know, was all about it then. Then when he's running for office in 2015, they bring up Clinton. He goes, well, I think Clinton's got a problem with the Epstein Island coming up, right? And we're like, well, Epstein Island. So Trump's bringing this into the foreground. This is 2015 now. Then later that day, he's being interviewed on Bloomberg television about the event that he was at, where he brought that up. They say, you brought up Epstein. What's up with that? He goes, well, you know, that island was a cesspool calls it a cesspool. This is unprovoked, by the way. No one even knows who Jeffrey Epstein is in 2015. All right. And I'm sure there's 2 people in chat. I'm like, I knew him since the beginning. Good for you. Yeah. All right. 99% of the public had no idea who Jeffrey Epstein was in 2015. Trump is volunteering this, says the island was a cesspool, and says you should ask also, not just Clinton, Prince Andrew. Outs Prince Andrew. So now he's outed Ghislaine. He's outed Prince Andrew. He's outed Clinton. He's outed Epstein Island. This is all before he even went down the escalator. He didn't even officially decide to run yet. This is in January, February of 2015 when he was pretty sure he was going to. And then he comes down the escalator in June of 2015. But this is one of the reasons they were going so crazy about this guy. This guy was outing Epstein. And then he gets in office, and during his first year in office, he starts doing this. Okay? This is what Trump decided to do when he got in office. Okay? So it keeps breaking the link. Oh, and here we go. Here's Mar. Not so funny now when they're just showing that Mar's, this was a Q post. They're sharing an old Q post where it said that Mar had his production company was called Kid Love Production. Okay?
Oh, gosh.
So definitely funny. And then they showed this picture with him making fun of Q, which I was able to find a timestamp. We might as well just watch it.
Which is why it is true. I am Q. I am Q. I'm revealing it now. I am Q. It's true. You don't believe me? Just ask yourself, is there any evidence that I'm not Q?
Big joke, huh? Why doesn't he? Wow. Why didn't he mention Epstein? Well, you don't want to mention the fact that they incessantly posted about this scumbag?
I am Q. Oh, it feels so good to finally be myself. A computer whiz in a hoodie. My entire life has been a sham that gave me the perfect cover to be your source for what's really happening in America. The drugs, the atheism, the stuff at the Playboy Mansion. I did that to throw everybody off the scent. I'm actually a Presbyterian who goes to church every Sunday with my wife and our homeschooled twins, Margaret and Thatcher. The pot I smoke is oregano, and the jokes in my monologue are actually coded messages. Except for the ones about Chris Christie being fat. Those I just like to tell. So, now that you real Americans know the truth, I, Q, need your help to make America great again. Keep posting your memes, keep believing everything Trump tells you, and above all, on Tuesday, November 6th, stay at home.
Oh, yeah,
He's such a mocker.
I've widely said that the best thing the deep state could ever do is to get people to not vote. And that's why, like, whenever people are like, you shouldn't vote, it's fake. This is literally what they did to every truther community since the beginning of time. By the way, the Q posts are basically like, yes, vote, swamp the vote, swamp the vote, swamp the vote. But like when Q first came out, right? So I had known about Soros and I know stuff, right? I wasn't like totally blind, but boy, they filled a lot of gaps. And then, you know, there's a lot of things that fall under the truther community. Now I found Q, well, someone showed it to me, day 8, okay, November 5th. Nice. So there weren't really a lot of Q groups on the internet. You know, they started popping up on Facebook, but there was really nowhere to go. So I started I wanted to talk about these things. Oh my gosh, 9/11 stuff, it's Rothschild stuff, all these different things. So I started joining these just random truther groups. You know, a lot of them left over from the anonymous days or just random truther groups there are. And boy, they were all just burnt out shells. They're all just this Trump's evil, everyone's evil,
Yes.
totally black pilled. And it was like, what I was finding was the remnants of once vital, full of life groups, right? That say, like, during, say, 2012, this group was blah, blah, blah. Now here they are in 2017. They're just a hollowed out, black pilled shell. And here's a group that's probably life and vital in the early 2000s of people. And now here they are in 2017. They're just a hollowed out shell, because this is what they do. They find these groups who are finding information and they're sharing stuff, and then they put in the depressors. It's all fake. It doesn't matter. Nothing's real. Oh, yeah, nothing's real, whatever. And then they say, what's the point of voting? It doesn't matter anyway. Both candidates are fucking controlled. Don't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then those people who were once like, we're exposing stuff and we're excited, they just start getting hollowed out, and the black pill eats them from the inside out. And then oh, well, whatever. No one votes. And then they stop that. And, that's the one thing they do. So they have now neutralized that group. So now you can't go to a primary, find someone who's a normal candidate and vote for them in, and then vote for them for the presidency or anything, or for your Congress or anything, because you're just totally black pilled and you're just not going to do it. So this is what they do. So what I realized early on, that is how they rot these groups from the inside out. They tell them everything, they get black pilled and everything's dark and nothing really matters and voting doesn't matter. Because if they could get you to stay home, they already won. Or you think they'd be like, they figured us out, guys. All right, we better give up the chick. No, are you kidding me? They're going to be like, oh, fuck yeah. And then they're going to load you up with nothing but terrible people. And so that's why I'm very suspicious of, anyone who is really, really very energized and angry and nasty about the whole voting thing. And, I get that they steal votes and stuff. And, there's a lot of that in the Q drops about how they steal it. But that's the thing. They're talking about specific ways, because there are a lot of specific ways. And as you start exposing them, well, you could start working towards fixing our elections, which, Trump has been doing stuff. And there were even states that have been doing stuff since 2020. They're working towards it. But anyway, I'm always very suspicious of that. So, that's why this is a great way to wrap up, because this is,
tells you, and above all, on Tuesday, November 6th, stay at home.
Yeah, see Buck Williams saying, vote harder. Right, yeah. Okay, buddy. You just stay home and you do nothing. You worthless sack of shit.
Hey.
I don't even know what Buck Williams is. I'm sorry.
No, I
worthless sack of shit. I just, I'm just very much, I don't like it. It's very much exactly against everything any of us have been working towards. And this is how they hollow out and destroy groups like us. This is right now the Q movement. They've been hollowing out and destroying it with their little subtle digs and just, anyway, it is really disgusting to me. And I want to fight people sometimes.
I want to fight people. But yes, I do want to say I can be this neutral ground, because I do see both sides, and it would be like this. Even if they have the voting rig, which I believe they do, okay? So your vote is not being counted the way it should, okay? Or they've stolen it, or they've changed the code, or they flipped the votes, or they literally take the ballots and burn them. I have so much evidence of them messing with the election.
Yeah.
Even if that's going on, you do not want to give up that ground of your beautiful right to vote. Because if you do, then you're not even using that mechanism anymore. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that they're not going to change it. But so that's why I get upset about that, because you're giving up such a beautiful thing that our founding fathers fought for. And going to sit home on your lazy ass. You could go there, you could vote, and you can be like, man, I don't even know if this vote's going to come out. You could, but don't give up that ground. I think that's the key. And so I know it is triggering, and there is views on both sides. So,
yeah,
but I do agree with you about the Halloween. I do, though. You're right. You're right. And we do need to preserve and protect what we're fighting for. And so, yeah, this is a battle for your mind. Always remember that.
This is what Lynn Wood did right after the 2020 election, where he was like, we're not voting until they give back the diamonds. Who's going to give it back? The Biden administration? And what happened? Or fucking it's like, oh, they're until they fix it. Like they're the people that stole it right now. The people who are still embedded that during this thing. And what happened? Was it like Georgia, I believe, had a special election. And I want to say January-ish of 2021. It was like right after that, right after he made that big ruckus. And people stayed home. And then they inserted a brand new senator, Democrat senator, into Washington. This is what they want. This is why they have these people, these big plants, and they come and they're really well-spoken because they're trained to be well-spoken and they have catchphrases and stuff. It's the whole nine. So anyway, this is again, this is what Trump decided to do with Epstein. He just, welcome to Epstein Island. Ask yourself, is this normal? What is the temple? What does the owl symbolize? Dark religion? Okay, how many channels captured on RC's pick? And that's talking about this right here. Now people, and says, note 2013 on the bottom. And people were saying that I see stairs. I see at least 3 staircases.
Oh,
I
that's
see the
what I
white log.
remember. Yes.
Yep. So people were getting involved in it. Then here's here is again where it asks, how is Lady LDR connected to the Bronfmans? Linda de Rothschild. And so this is also Dershowitz.
Well, I can't believe I don't know the answer to this question, but I don't. Do you still represent you know, him? And when did you stop representing him, Epstein?
No, I stopped representing him when the deal was made, and I haven't seen him in years. And, you know, if his lawyers call me and ask me a question about the deal, of course, as a lawyer, I have to answer that question. Look, I was introduced to him by the Lady Rothschild.
By the lady. Look.
So he was
That's the street
introduced
cred
to
right
him
there.
by Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, or LDR, also mentioned in the drops. That's who introduced him to Epstein. So again, those worlds are all, Epstein and the Rothschilds are all worked up together. And says, how does LDR, and this is what Q was asking in that thing, how does LDR and Rothschilds connect to the Bronfmans? And Bronfman, again, was connected to NXIVM. Remember Claire Bronfman? And the whole NXIVM thing we just went over with Allison Mack. And they were connected through the wealth management firm Bronfman L. Rothschild, LP. And in April of 2019, she pleaded guilty in the NXIVM sex call case, and I think she got 5 years for that. And yeah, we'll just keep going in. Here's a very profound one. And this one at the time has kind of confirmed some stuff that I was saying, because there was a lot of, you know, it was a revolving door. You know, Mick Masters and all these people were in and out of his cabinet and turning on Trump and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, well, why do you think that is? And for me, my big thing was, well, he doesn't know how Washington works. Also, who do you freaking even put in there? Yeah. So he took some of these people, probably hoping some of them turned out to be good. You know, I'm sure it wasn't 100% sure about all of them, and you see what they do. You have to see how it works. You don't know. If he just goes there with his friends, they say, all right, and he's just on an island in the White House. No one knows where to go for anything. No one's talking to anyone, but he didn't. He said he let them give him suggestions, and he goes, okay, and he put them all in. And I think they watched them, and they think they watched the inner workings of Washington, and they were just cycling them in and out. Here we go. Labor Secretary Acosta announces he will step down amid criticism over the Epstein plea deal. And Q shares this and then also shares an older post that they had put where it says, how do you fill your admin if majority of those, quote, in politics are corrupt? Draining the swamp. Okay. So again, he was taking the swamp, watching them, and then out. Now the second time around, now he's got his boys, he knows how it works, and we've just been seeing, dude, from day one, the guy signed like a freaking 150 EOs that will like instantly flipped a ton of things and then immediately got to work. And now it's even ramped up even more. But he went this, just one more thing is, this was where it said, it showed that Trump's saying, well, first let me show this.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago.
it shows you one thing, that I have good taste. Okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. His island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. But
okay, so find out the people who went to the island, right? And so Q shares that, goes, find out Anons know, because he's citing the first post in this whole breakdown, which said this. Who are the puppet masters? Have they traveled to this island? When? How often? Why? Find out who went to this island. That's what Trump was tasking us. Find out who went to this island. So here he is saying it again when he was said it 2 years earlier in the Q post that, knowing the media doesn't want to talk about it unless they're making up lies about it. And then, and then they just go into some of this stuff. Now, I'm sorry I cut you off.
I think we might be close to time. Or are we not? Are we still good?
Oh my gosh.
And I need to do the ads.
I can't believe what time it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. You should do the ads. My bad. I could do this for another hour and a half.
I love this. I know we got to, because we got to recontinue because there's so much to go through. But guys, thank you so much for watching. And please, I'm gonna go through the ads. Please stay with us for a minute. And yes, you've got some super chats, but
never get some cool super chats. Yeah.
Before we continue here, let's thank our very own Jessica. All right. This Valentine's Day, show your love with premium clean skincare and hair care. Crafted from 100% grass-fed tallow and organic pressed oils, zero parabens, sulfates, toxin, BPAs, and PFAs. Just real nourishing ingredients with zero junk. Handcrafted in small batches by Jessica in sunny Florida and packaged in amber glass jars for maximum freshness. It's all good inside and out. Try the lightweight Pure Whip Tallow for deep all-day hydration, smooth and firm with the no-tox smoothing serum. That's so good, by the way. Revive your locks with a game-changing tallow hair mask for the ultimate nourishment, and tame and style with the Tamed Hair Serum or Tallow Beard Balm for effortless control and shine. Longing for the sun? For a limited time, score a free sample of All Goods Tallow Sunscreen with a bundle purchase just by using code BADLANDS at badlandsmedia.tv/allgood. Snag your discount bundle crafted for women and men, plus free sample today, and feel good knowing your purchase supports amazing creators at Badlands Media, which it does. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv/allgood, code BADLANDS. And let's hear real quick from our others.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
The following ad is rated M for mature. Soft Disclosure wants you to get naked this Valentine's Day with limited edition his and her bundles that save you 20% off the individual retail prices. Proprietary oil infusions, grass-finished beef tallow, goat's milk from American goats, locally grown herbs and ingredients. Soft Disclosure is putting America First fruits on your skin.
And for these sexy bundles, we've added an all-new boar's haired beard brush and a solid jade gua sha. And the reason I'm here is because Alpha doesn't know how to say these words.
Gusha. His, hers. We need a moment to calm down. Don't hide your skin. Disclose it. Get naked this Valentine's Day with Soft Disclosure. Head over to softdisclosure.com and save 20% off individual retail prices with our his and hers customizable bundles and use promo code NAKED to save 15% off the rest of the site. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Promo code does not apply to bundle discounts.
Yeah. Should be fun. Valentine's coming up. And babe, this is amazing. Did you find that video I was talking about?
Okay. Yeah. So I did find a thing where I had clipped it from, this is from my Disney documentary. It came out a year after that one, 6 years ago. But I did include that in here. And this is Trump from, I have it on there. See, January, February of 2015. And this is in the beginning of the video I got this from. He saw on Bloomberg TV. He says, oh, he's about 80% sure he's going to run. So, by the way, he hasn't even run yet. He's just out there talking some shit for him.
And Trump. Which statement do you agree with? Now, fast forward 2.5 years, and here's a clip from February of 2015 proving once again that Donald Trump was the only celebrity on planet Earth openly outing Jeffrey Epstein.
Mr. Trump, can you explain the team? We've read some stories recently. You hired up.
I have a team. I have a team in New Hampshire. I have a team in Iowa. I have a team in New York. We have a great team. I'm making a decision, and I may surprise you. I don't think I'm going to surprise you that much.
But a lot of people
But
say
I'll
this is
surprise
still
them.
just a stunt.
Well,
Because
look,
you know what? You
I
have
will
trouble
say,
selling stuff with that publicity.
Well, and I still get the best response. We still had the packed house, and the response was great. I really enjoyed it today, and I think they enjoyed it. But until I make that decision and actually announce, you're going to have skeptics.
We were
I
talking to
understand.
Al about the scrutiny that Mrs. Bush has gotten in the last couple of days of two big high-profile stories. What's your view about whether it's all right for reporters to write about people who may be the First Lady of the United States,
Well, it's
including
tough.
your wife if you run?
Well, she's pretty good. I don't know what you're going to find. You're going to have to let me know. But I have to tell you, they were very rough on Mrs. Bush. That was tough stuff. That was nasty.
You think it was over the line?
I don't know because I don't know her, but it was nasty.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think
with
he's got a
Sean.
problem. I mean,
What do you think
I'm
the problem
hearing.
will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
The Clintons are friends
and
of
he's been
yours,
there
right?
for many
The
times.
Clintons are friends
Well,
of
I
yours.
can't say friends, but I know
You're
them.
friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play
Are
at
you
my
saying
clubs.
there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political
I want to ask one question.
The island was an absolute cesspool. Ex Prince Andrew. Wow. Talk about a statement aging well.
Right. And this is long before. It's 2015. This is from 11 years ago, everybody.
Is this
Almost
from that same
almost
documentary?
exactly. This is from this is from my Disney documentary. that I went
Okay.
on to.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. This is so
from-
good.
Statement is from 11 freaking years ago. And again, anytime you start talking about any of this stuff, right, they're like, you're a right-wing Nazi conspiracy theorist. And, it's like, I'm just going to play this one clip really quick because it evokes everything we're talking about. But also, I don't know if anyone saw the introduction to the Olympics, which, by the way, I've been enjoying. I've been really enjoying these Olympics. Good Lord, dude. It's like they can't help themselves.
Yeah, dude.
This is a nice pentagram with fire behind
He
it.
tearfully asked
No big
Epstein
deal.
to delete messages
Definitely not
listing
satanic,
STD, writing your request that I provide you antibiotics that you surreptitiously give to Melinda.
People going crazy think they found a code word for human meat? Wait, what?
They're just openly talking in emails about this sort of, sexual perversion, and that they were all doing, and lots of people who you didn't think, or I never imagined were doing it.
There is a global elite, a cabal of global elites that are all doing nefarious satanic rituals, having sex with underage children.
Let me get this straight. With the release of the Epstein emails a couple of days ago, we learned that Epstein couldn't stand Trump, hated him, and didn't trust him. And for years, we had the media constantly telling us that Trump and Epstein were close friends.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals.
Is that supposed to be a bad thing?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, no.
I have been
What a
waiting.
monster. Yeah.
I have been waiting for this day to come forever, guys. I'm
Oh my
so
God, me too. It's so
happy
nice.
that the darkness is being exposed. It is sick and it is gross. And I agree with everybody on this. And I've seen a lot of like the women get triggered and it's just this terrible. We shouldn't be doing this. But here's the thing. We cannot go into the light unless we walk through the darkness. We cannot recover from this traumatic global event that has happened to all of us and all of our children. We have to expose it. And it's going to be a little hard, but that's when we're in it together, right? Shoulder to shoulder. We're animals. We're a fellowship of friends, right? We can do this, and that's what we're here for. So, yeah,
I love that.
Happy to be.
I love that so much. It's so true, and it's like, you know what, just has to come out. I'm sorry, you know, if you can't handle it, just look for your friends who can. That's why we're here. We've obviously been walking through it for a long time, but Warrior Mima says, Brad Abbey, Zach said to tell you hello. He loves you both. And I also love you. We love you guys, and we love Zach. And Lisa.
Yeah, thank you for the raid, because Zach raided us. That was great.
Oh, I love that. He did it last week, too. Zach's freaking best. And guys, don't forget Altered State tomorrow. We'll definitely have it's funny. Altered State, we always do like the first half of the show where we kind of just catch up and kind of like have a regular conversation, which I think is very, very needed these day and age. That's why we kind of force it. And then we'll have like a loose conversation about stuff that's going on that usually gets pretty based for the second half. So it's cool what that format has turned into. I really like it.
Oh yeah, love it.
Reber Hart says, Brett, have you shared your documentary again? Can you post clips on Rumble? Yeah, well, I put it in the info box of this, and then I also did share it in the thing. And you guys could share any of that. I'm not, to each his own. I see people, they get very protective. That was my post or this thing, and I think it is kind of important, especially if someone's like taking your word for word post. Like, that's ridiculous. But I mean, for me, I don't care about that stuff. You guys can share away, post whatever you want, wherever. I don't care. I just want us to win. I'm here to help Trump. I'm not here for fame. There are plenty of things I could do to blow up if I wanted to. That is just, I'm cool. I just want to get the information out there. You guys share and do whatever you want with that stuff. Okay. Unithox says, love you both. God bless the two of you and your families.
Oh, I love you back. Thank you.
Eleanor 2000 says, not enough for all the hard work. Brad Q novices like me reinforces what I've learned. Need to read Sayer G's Substack on the architecture behind pandemics and Epstein. Link below. I don't see the link.
Interesting.
That sounds pretty cool.
Maybe put the link, if you're still watching, Eleanor, put the link in the chat now, and I'll grab that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, guys. You're so sweet. And the thing is, yes, maybe we've known about the Q up for a while, but me and Brad are very, 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 very humble about it. We're not going to be like, oh, you're a newbie. Like, dude, we're like, welcome to the family. Like patriots. We're going to go all. So it's okay if you're just figuring it out. You're welcome. And, we're in it together. So, yeah.
Love that. Makes sense to me too. Says Trump and Q both say these people are really stupid. Coincidence? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, they proved pretty much right out the gate that it was coming from the Trump administration. So it's like, I know it's like there's a Q team, and I think a lot of them were Dan and then a few other posters, but it's Trump. Like basically the posts, they're basically just think of it. That's Trump and his administration telling everyone what's up. The Boom Diggity, massive. Thank you so much. $200.
Oh, thanks,
Brad and Abby, for a great show and all your amazing research. Love you both.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you. We love you guys.
I need like a graphic or something to happen.
No, we need like music. And Eleanor, I got the link. We're good to go.
You just play like different Trump clips. We say this is still my favorite. Only because I did concrete in New York, and I know Trump knows that world. But he's talking about the bankers.
The banks, you don't mind. The cement guys, they can be a little bit tougher.
Yeah. He's probably had to deal with some characters over the years. Polymath says, Brad Abbey, love you too. Many blessings you. Man, Polymath's been in it since freaking beginning, man. He knows. Shout out. Same thing, Whiskey Girl. Been around for a minute. Thanks, especially thanks to her brother. Just popping to say hi to you both and tell you, Fat Chance and I love you both.
Love you back.
Love you guys. And Reaver Heart 29, you are right, Abby. There are points on both sides, and that's why I love Badlands, because both sides are argued out on Badlands. Yeah, amen, dude. Yeah, there is a plethora of thought on Badlands. I'm sure we all get on each other's nerves from time to time. But to Badlands' point, they allow it, John. I've never seen John tell anyone not to push their opinion on here. So that is wholly unique and a gift. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And that's the core concept principle of a free press, and that you need debate. Like, you know, like there's people, Badlands, that we might have opposing views, but we can still agree on very basic things, or we can be like civil about it and go, well, let's talk about it. Let's think about this, you know. And like one time I was talking to Ship, and she's like, I just want to understand your side. And I love it because like we need to, and not that we have to agree with what they're saying, but I am kind of an empath person. So I like to know where they're coming from. That's even in the Q post when it says to know your enemy. Like people get after me, Abby, why do you need to know about all this satanic pedophile, whatever inner workings? For me, that's important because I know where they're coming from and I know why they're doing it. Right. And not everybody needs to know these things, but yeah. So I just love the different thoughts, different ideas. And, yeah, it's just great. It's a good network to be on for sure.
Oh man, dude, there's nothing like it. I do want to play, you know, can I just do one last thing here? Probably take me about 5 minutes.
Yes.
It's just because it's something that I found before the show. Well, first I want to play this. This is the Asm Gold clip that's been going around. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing, but he's talking about the code word jerky, which, man, I think there's legs to this because it's just some of the ways that it's the same thing with Pizzagate. Where they were reading all these references to pizza from John Podesta, you know, like, one, who talks like this in email?
Yes.
You know, like you're not pressed to see like text from me. Like I don't really email to my friends talking about like obsessing about any one food item. You're right. Also, just the way they're talking about it, it's not a way you would talk about pizza. And it's the same thing that is with jerky. It seems like this might have been one of their code words.
Oh, let me add it.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
People going crazy think they found a code word for human meat? Wait, what? Hope you are feeling better. Did we analyze the jerky? Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around? Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't recommend checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. Can blank make some jerky? I think we.
Okay, I think that's the pinnacle right there. And it's just like, clearly they're not talking about beef jerky. Anyone who's ever eaten beef jerky, I've not eaten too much in my life, but I like it. One, it's freeze dried or whatever. You don't refrigerate it. And then this is the one that stuck out to me the most. This is one of the ones he mentions. This is blacked out. So this is an interesting one. It goes, JoJo is here and will walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Please just go on your own to Leon's office. And he'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. That is just so weird the way that is worded. Like, this is not jerky. All right. So I would think means like blue patches, like little boys, something like that, little girls, little boys, something's about it.
The whole thing about Epstein also going, he's going to eat regular food now. There's 6 packs of jerky in the free. No. What, he was on an all jerky diet? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? When you really start to break this down, jerky's not supposed to be on ice. Why is it like this thing where you have to fly it over quickly? No, it's not what you think it is. Well, I guess it is what we think it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so I was able to find that I was trying to look like JoJo. This JoJo comes up a lot, right? So I was able to find something talking about from the files. Epstein was not alone in the helicopter, though, according to files, someone named JoJo was supposed to pick up all the girls with the instructions, girls, bring your IDs with you. Okay, so that is from this one. And so JoJo on Sunday, please pick up all the girls and have them in the house at 9 a.m. Girls, bring your IDs with you. And this one, again, is that's instructions for some JoJo. And so I go to the files, and when you search JoJo, there are 23,000 results. So okay, so who is JoJo? It seems to be this JoJo Fontanilla, who is they were the housekeeper. He was a housekeeper. Him and his wife were a housekeeper for Epstein, and then they were clearly involved working with this and whatever the jerky operation is, and procuring women straight up. So this is definitely a player in it, JoJo Fontanilla. And yes, that is the weirdest one. JoJo is here, and he will walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Please just go on your own to Leon's office. Melanie's your assistant. I'll alert Melanie. And
Sick.
And then again, there is just all this stuff.
Landscape all around the house to use the water if possible. If the main house is not enough, are there any recorded images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky at all? No, there are no recorded or publicly known images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky. Who sends beef jerky to a lab for analysis? Wait, what? I was looking for the beef jerky as I knew it was in my suitcase, and I thought that maybe I left it on the beach, only to find a small plastic bag near my dog's bed. I'll email Francis to make us some more, as I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab, and I'll forward to Francis the info to send to the lab directly. Guys, I think something's going on. Let's see here. Commercial. Apparently, it's his last girlfriend who's active on Twitter right now. Check the mail. Names for hers again. Oh boy. People are saying this is Jeffrey Epstein's last girlfriend. And this is the same name as inside of the files. And her name change hasn't occurred since 2017, before the files released. After years of silence, the truth. Jeffrey was innocent. I really like he just a good boy. He didn't do nothing wrong. Trapped by powerful people who silenced him. I was his last confidant, and I have the evidence that they're still hiding. I'm not suicidal, just in case. You'll know the whole truth soon. They sacrificed children to Lucifer. It's an entire cult. Jeffrey got involved in their operation for financial reasons and to obtain Combraprat, but never participated in the rituals. Oh, what is this here? I'll pull this one up and see it. That's crazy. She cooked in the brain? Maybe. She ate the brain? Yeah, maybe she did. Wire transfer request form. A 65-gallon, guys, 655-gallon sulfuric acid with fuel and insurance charge? They are dissolving bodies.
The whole thing, I mean, you know, it's not saying that that's necessarily what happened, but honestly, I'm tracking with him. I think that is, I think that is almost.
I watched Breaking Bad.
What is most likely going on? I do want to go back to this really quick, just to put a bow on it all. I guess I must have lost my spot here, but again, this is why when people are like, I think Trump's involved, like, nah, I'm gonna go on a limb.
Oh, thank you. Ken Conraded us as well.
It's like, I'm going to go on a limb and say, I don't think Trump liked Jeffrey Epstein. Just call it a hunch, guys. Maybe it's the 80,000 times he's called him a shitbag and posted about him that before anyone else was talking about him. But there's an interesting thing towards the end here that sort of goes potentially with that. Again, there are so many. There's so many, it continuously just cuts it off. And okay, so yeah, so these are all the drone footage.
I love that you put that in there.
Yeah,
those are good.
Rusty Shackelford. I think there might have even been some more of these, but these are the ones when you went there. So like Q had linked this page, right? And he had drone footage of Little St. James. And so obviously YouTube deleted that, but I had, before they deleted it, I downloaded a whole bunch. So this is the one specific one that was shared in the post. And then here's a whole bunch of others just to have them in case any of you went. Okay. So this is interesting. Ghislaine Maxwell, Follow the Family, Umbrella Surveillance. Okay. Open source. And so this is inside the Victoria's Secret pipeline to Epstein. I wish you could, by the way, these are higher quality than they appear. If you save them, then you can go into them. But it's talking about her father and going to Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell worked for the Mossad. These are things that are supposedly just coming out now, but we already have known all this. So Epstein does link to the Mossad per the Q drops. Okay. And we confirm them all. This was all. One of the things with Q was to make sure you effing confirm everything. And again, this is a Turkish bathhouse. And Q posted this and says, symbolism will be their downfall. What does that look like? This is exactly like the temple. So why is that not Turkish, it's a Syrian bathhouse in Aleppo. And why is that symbolic? Because the bathhouses where a whole bunch of shit went on back in like the Ottoman Empire, even before that, from the 15th to 19th centuries. Relationships with older men and adolescent boys were normal. Prostitution was normal. Young girls were married off to men when they were between the ages of 12 and 15. There's an early 19th century traveler, Lord Byron, described the Ottoman baths as a marble paradise of sherbet and sodomy. Okay, so this is the Haman Yaga bathhouse in Aleppo. And it's, obviously it's a perfect match for Little St. James. And so if you know what these Ottoman bathhouses represent, you understand more about that. But again, it's talking about the Keystone. And then they start getting into more towards the end, because obviously then, unfortunately, they were able to kill Epstein. Or I think the deep state broke him out. I don't even think, there's a lot of people think the white hats have him. They might.
That.
Yeah, you think the white hats have him. I think maybe I think bad people broke him out, but I could go either way. Here's again the fake news. They start getting into this. ABC News was like, oh, the temple was just a gym. And it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. Because then once you got that drone footage, started looking inside. Well, there's blood-stained beds inside this temple. Wait, I thought it was just a gym. And then someone points out that Inside Edition tried to say it was just a music room. Oh, that temple's just a music room. This is the fake news, dude. Do you trust the media? No. Oh, it's funny. When I went here, by the way, Jordan was like the top comment.
Really?
Yeah, let's see.
It's like, isn't it fun finding out the old anons and the old ones if they still exist?
So this was, from the archive one, because obviously it's been deleted, and it says, talking about like, yeah, well, Inside Edition said it was a music room, and the top one says, Jordan says, no, I don't trust the media. Cute.
Let's go.
Paramedic.
Paramedic.
So I thought that was a little cool. I think I know it very well. I was doing this part, and then again, they just, man, they get into it. Here's the one with the Disney Cruise Lines. Again, Captain Nautica's.
Just waited traffic. Oh.
Here you go. If you go, and this is just an outside page that would, they would set up the different cruise lines, and then they would, set up travel instances to you. And this is, what it said about Captain Nautica's snorkeling expedition. It says, be whisked away aboard Captain RIB powerboat off a pair of sun-soaked snorkeling sites and prepare your adventure like no other. A journey to the picturesque Turtle Cove, Buck Island, immerse yourself in underwater adventure. And you're invited afterward. Let's see. Afterward, make your second snorkel stop, Little St. James Island, where curious fish dart back and forth. So they were stopping off the coast of Little St. James Island. Again, that's that lead came from Q Drops, and then there's like going over all the footage. There's ventilation ducts and all the different things, and just getting into it with all this stuff. Here's Clinton and Ghislaine, and here is where Q was saying that Mossad to alt media, to U.S. media, politicians, and then past that, those who screamed the loudest. And it says, relevant today, destruction of foreign-controlled intel, media source, untouchable. Epstein thought so, puppets and puppet masters. So it's basically, again, another thing saying that Epstein was working for Mossad, or at least suggesting that. And then here's more getting into Victoria's Secret and Lex Wexner, and it just goes on and on and on. Well, that one didn't even have like a continuation chance.
No, keeping it hidden.
Yeah, and look, and then all these, they don't even have like. That's okay. Here we go. Is this the one I was looking for? Clinton Foundation, Epstein evidence, and the one with Ghislaine. Yeah, this is Ghislaine arrested, and there's one where they actually mention her father, Robert Maxwell. Here we go. Possible Epstein was a puppet, not the main person of interest. Financed by who? Primary, gather blackmail on elected politicians, dignitaries, royalties, Hollywood influencers, Wall Street, and other financial top players, other high-profile industry-specific people. 2, feed an addiction, controllable. Maxwell family background, Robert Maxwell history, intel agency, wealth. Intel agency is Mossad. Wealth, class. Sometimes it's the people in the background that are of greater significance. And so these are, all the things.
And Trump did say, focus on her. He said, with Epstein, focus on Ghislaine. And then Ghislaine's dad worked for Mossad, because I remember I looked it up. It wasn't like official, but everybody knew that he was like working with them. Like that's kind of pretty much how it goes. If you guys look it up, it's actually fun. So many rabbit holes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And you were saying Maxwell is not a big enough name trigger awakening. That's, saying that's what people were arguing when she was arrested. People were like, hey, another arrest, right? And or even first arrest. And it's like every arrest, we were like, it's the first arrest. It's like this, like the 20th arrest. What are you talking about? What fucking like? So, and then they're saying that the argument saying other people will argue, well, Maxwell's not a big enough name to trigger mass awakening. It says counter argument, says Q. Do not make statements based on assumption of worth and their value. Do not think today, but rather after today. And we are living right now in the after today. One leads to another, to another, to another. One leads to many. Crimes against children is the common denominator, no matter what political affiliation, that will awaken the public.
Yes.
And we are watching it right now. And they just go through it again and again and again. Here's her with Kevin Spacey. As they point out, the Spacey had his freaking 3 different victims who accused him all die. Epstein Island, talking about who owns the surrounding islands, close proximity, a unique set of skills. And then there's a video
on the stage here. We have
where they talk, where she talks about being a submarine pilot and a helicopter pilot. Oh, you're a submarine pilot? Well, the very right after that talks about political article where Joe Biden's brother bought an acre of land with excellent ocean views on a remote island, which Anon's found out is Water Island in the Caribbean for $150,000, divided into parcels. After the land deal, Joe Biden vacationed elsewhere on the tiny island, which once protected a nearby submarine base before it became a tropical getaway. And so this is a little map, just so you guys know, this is the Caribbean. This is St. Thomas, right? Here's Little St. James, and there's Water Island.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, just you get into it. And then these were posts that go through all the different politicians and activists and figures who have been arrested for child trafficking and child porn. And that kind of put them all together, even though Epstein's only mentioned in the 4th one. And that is an extensive list for everyone who's like, nothing's happening. No, it's been happening. And again, a lot of the things I talked about in the beginning with all those arrests, those are no-name people arrested. These are regular name people who have been arrested. Here you go. Harvey Weinstein, X. Epstein, X. Ghislaine, X. All right.
It's happened. And when that was put out, by the way, those guys were all still fine. Weinstein didn't break, nothing of that.
Yeah, when this was first released, right, without the X's, that's correct. More about
and so even as us following the post at the time, we've seen that yes, there was an operation for sure going on. Like you saw it.
Exactly.
But you had to be there at the time. But it's happening again now, and it's happening like a gazillion times faster. And so yeah, I do feel that this is important to review, so that people can understand the full depth of the story. Plus, now with the exoneration of Trump here,
I know. And they're like, oh, we got to release them to get Trump. And it's like, no, Trump's been outing them for 20 years. Dude, it's freaking like, oh, yeah, by the way, exactly like we've been saying. Here's James Comey's brother tied to the Clinton Global Initiative, which we now know Epstein helped conceive. And this is Peter Comey, was a senior director of the real estate operations for the Americas, DLA Piper. And you can read more about that on your own. DLA Piper was working on a firm commitment to legal education in East Africa through the Clinton Initiative. So isn't that a conflict of interest with Comey as the one who was the one tasked to go over her emails, and then nothing happened to her?
A little slap on the little wrist there is what happened.
Of interest. And then we also know again that Epstein helped conceive the Clinton Global Initiative. At least that's his own claim. Then Maureen Comey becomes the key prosecutor in the cases, and Ghislaine and even Jeffrey before that. And definitely
it's all big freaking club, bro.
It's one big freaking club. Okay.
I like what Liberty Line said, but global warming.
Yeah.
But global warming, Brad.
Oh no, but global warming. And then here is, well, technically I'd say this is the last one because it's just saying to Virginia Giuffre. She posted this and says, "Dearest Virginia, we stand with you now and always. Find peace through prayer. Never give up the good fight. God bless you." I thought it was really sweet. That's technically the last post. It's one of the last Q posts, period, about that whole world. And then right before it, the last one specifically about Epstein is this picture of him with the Q post from a couple before it saying, "A deep, dark world is being exposed. The truth won't be for everyone. Have faith in humanity. So there you go. For all the people who are like, yo, QAnon got it right. Oh my God. Yeah. And then the things you're saying, well, they're so crazy about this, this, and that. Well, those things actually never happened in the Q post. So I don't know what you're talking about. But that just means that they didn't actually look at the Q posts. They're only just going off rumors. And then the MSM is just repeating each other's rumors. And so, yeah, man, this Epstein stuff is crazy. It's wild that the full documents are actually out there. I'd say worse, but I mean, we pretty much knew they were maxed out on the awful scale. So they're pretty much as awful as we thought they were going to be. And again, I want everyone to think about, the MSNBC, QAnon, or CNN, or CBS, or ABC, all the thousands of QAnon things, hit pieces they put on, and not one of them even hinted a connection to QAnon outing Jeffrey Epstein. They kept those two things totally separate, and that is totally was on purpose. Mm-hmm. So I think that is very notable, and thank you guys for hanging out. Sorry for going over. It's
so good.
It's just cool to get that out. We actually have even a bunch of other stuff about the new drops that we had ready, but we'll go over them maybe some next week, or just over. Just follow our
follow us.
Our pages.
Follow me.
Follow me.
And Brad, thank you so much for setting the record straight, because it is important to show that all the fake things they said about QAnon were not true, and that we are just a bunch of patriots that love our country, actually worldwide, and that want to save our world from these evil people. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Brad, please maybe throw that documentary back in the feed again for people that are new. I want to rewatch that, because that's just impressive. And yeah, everybody stay positive. It's an interesting situation, but as we're going through this, balance both sides. Talk about greatness. Talk about the wonderful future that we are going to establish and are creating right now, and taking back our culture. But also simultaneously, we need to expose the darkness. We need to shine a light on it. And it's nasty. Nobody wants to talk about this. Heck, I told my mom, I was like, yeah, Epstein. I was like, you know how long I talked about Epstein? Like, I'm literally like, I don't want to, right? But we need to. We need to, because think of the victims. We just need to. And we need to see what happened to our country in order to fix it. So thank you guys. Give us thumbs up. And Brad, bravo. We should continue this next week. Yes. Guys, if you think we should do it next week, just let us know, because it just goes crazy. And a lot of information.
Well, yeah, we can do stuff like this forever.
All right. Well, we'll rage you on over to Story Hour. I believe it's already going.
Working on right now, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.